Namaste, viewers. This is Vibhuti Jha, and this is Sanatan World. And please like, subscribe, and support our channel. Welcome to the show. I wanted to talk to you about the way democracy seems to be operating in the world today. In the world's two most prominent democracies, in my opinion, are the United States and India. Both these countries looks like the democracy is being hijacked. Why it is being hijacked? Traditionally, we know that democracy is for the people, by the people, and of the people, various freedoms enshrined in our way of life through constitutional means and otherwise. And varieties of lofty ideals have been put in democracy. Some people say democracy is the best of the worst available until something new comes up. I'm of the opinion that it's time for democracy to adopt a different methodology. Because right now, the way it is operating, it has been hijacked by the crooks, of the crooks, for the crooks. And the famous statement that democracy is for the people, by the people, of the people, seems to be lying in shambles. Why do I say that? What is happening today is that ordinary human beings who are fond of democracy, the rule of law, and the freedoms enshrined by the constitutions and the various mechanisms, it seems to be working only for the crooks, by the crooks, of the crooks. And that's important for us to recognize, because in democracy, there is a dictum that you are not guilty until proven. And as a result of which, what's happening is that the thugs, crooks, criminals, rapists, murderers, grooming gangsters, and everybody else is taking advantage of the freedoms not guilty until proven. And as a result of which, it is lying in shambles. You have courts of laws where thousands and thousands of cases are pending, and people are forcing the judiciary to take action as if the ones who are accused of guilty are not guilty, but those who are accusing them of guilty are guilty. There's a complete topsy-turvy world we are living in right now. There are two examples which are very important for me, quoting from the United States. Several years ago, you remember when the Wall Street collapsed and because of the mortgage crisis, there was a major hearing done by the Congress of all the 10 top bankers. In that, I heard the hearing. There are only two hearings that I witnessed it. I listened to them with great detail. What was disappointing, that the 10 top bankers of the world did not own their errors. Instead, a very famous banker towards the end of the hearing said, in hindsight, I think the 30-to-1 leverage that they did was wrong. I'm not one of those top bankers, but I'm a banker of very serious kind. And I opined that in our way of work, leveraging more than 5 times was absolutely considered a no-no. 2 or 3 times of leverage was okay, was permissible or acceptable. But 30 times leverage, the CEO of a major American bank saying that on a hindsight it was a bad decision. No, sir, that's the time I said it was pure criminal act. No, none of the bankers suffered the consequences of that. And in the recent past, you had Dr. Fauci, the master of the COVID-19 campaign, who imposed significant distress on people, who made notes about his own involvement in the whole process, the whole thing that happened, leading to 9 million people dying, approximately. He said he resorted to Fifth Amendment of the American Constitution, which prevents people from self-incrimination. This is very important. He almost used the phrase that I'm taking the Fifth Amendment almost 100 times, near about 100 times. Did not answer the questions put forth by the Republicans, quoting his own diary notes, quoting the evidences that have come about in front of us, and he said, I'm taking the Fifth Amendment. You know, it went to a ridiculous extent to which, when he was asked, what is the color of the carpet in the room. And when he was asked to look back on people standing up to say that how they had suffered because of his instructions, he did not even look back at them. He again took the Fifth Amendment. Think about it, how the process gets delayed, denied, and abused. That he did not participate in a discussion, dialogue, and debate about what COVID, what was his role and his community's role in the whole process. 9 million people died. That was not a problem. Now look at India. We had witnessed the Farm Bill, which Prime Minister Modi had to roll back for the sake of the country, as Prime Minister said then, right? He rolled back the Farm Bill, which was favored by more than 80% of the farmers of the country, because some group of farmers in Punjab and the Khalistani elements resorted to violence to prevent its applicability as a law. That was taken back. And now you saw how the cockroaches entered the game and how they thwarted the entire effort on the NEET exam that had happened. The fact that the government conducted the exam again, the results were announced, and many students took advantage of that, was completely forgotten, ignored. But they asked for resignation of the education minister, and now you have seen the tremendous ugly use of words by Priyanka Vadra and Rahul Gandhi in terms of the way democracy was made to roll over to the whims and fancies of certain words used. This is what is important, and that's where the people who have the responsibility and the people's mandate to govern, they have to stand down. Even to the extent that even though Supreme Court of India ruled that those who disrupted the process of democracy by resorting to violence and abusive behavior, criminal behavior, the Cockroach Janata Party is asking not to take any action, not only today, but even in the future. I'm not making it up. You are seeing it all in front of your own eyes. And that's what I say, the democracy has been hijacked by the crooks, for the crooks, of the crooks, abusing the very freedoms that is the cornerstone of every democratic rule. And I want to bring this to your attention again, that several years ago we had talked about it on a show, that democracy as is failing the people. It's time for democracy, a new methodology, to come to govern the lives of nations and the lives of people. And I called it democracy, based on Sanatan principles. And that is the important part. Sanatan world needs to be embraced. Sanatan Dharma needs to be embraced. The principles of democracy as is failing everybody. It's virtually a jungle Raj, a chaotic rule. It's nothing wrong in chaos, because something good emerges always. But when somebody chooses to be, a thug, a crook, then all they want is to disrupt the system and the process. And this is where the hard approach of the government needs to be brought out. If it doesn't happen, it totally erodes the confidence in the rule of law. It erodes the trust in the rule of law. It erodes the trust in the government that they can do something. Because every time you can't be withdrawing things for the sake of the country because somebody is threatening violence. And this is where I want to stop today, because one has to begin rethinking the ideology itself. Is democracy being run by the crooks for the crooks of the crooks? And normal people like you and I will suffer. And that's where the truth becomes important. Truth cannot be allowed to become the casualty of the manipulations by some, for the few, by the few, of the few. And that's the message today. It's time for the world to make sure that the villains, thugs, crooks, criminals do not take advantage of the compassion of the society and the rule of law. With these words, I want to end today by saying, for the truth to triumph, you and I have to stand up and fight for it. Please like, subscribe, and support our channel. Give your feedback. We look forward to it. Thank you. Satyame Vijayate.